live. Hi, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Well, it's Friday where I am presently in the now moment. So, welcome. I'm Metaphysical Mama. How's everyone doing? So, I'm just going to. It's a beautiful day. Today's what? September 24th. Today is my Padre's birthday. So, happy birthday, Dad. And I am we're going to just dive into some fairy folklore and see what pops out. So I'm going to step outside, I think. Sorry about the noise. Bear with me. And that way I can hang out. Let's see, where am I going to put you? Hopefully right here will work. That should do alright. How's that? Got foliage behind us. Turn this way a little so I have the sun on me. There we go. So how is everybody? So I have my little fairy Bible here and the fairy encyclopedia. So I'm just gonna, like I do tarot, open them up and we'll see where we go. Ley lines and interfaces. As I got the sun blasted on me to the side, that's kind of cool. So let's see, ley lines and interfaces. Fairy processions are most likely to be seen upon fairy paths. Such paths may be ley lines, which we also call dragon lines, dream lines. Right, it's like the parallel, 33rd parallel, which are believed to be lines of subtle energy running through the earth, right, like the veins. These lines are generally straight and extend between significant markers, such as a hilltop, a megalithic site, a church, for churches were often built on old sites of pagan worship, or an ancient tree. Hauntings and apparitions of all kinds are more frequent on these lines, which may be an interface between this world and the other world, which right now we're in between anyhow. We're in the in-between. And we're approaching, right, Halloween, All Hallows Eve, or, what do they call it the night after? All Hallows Eve, or I can't think of the name of it right now. It'll come to me. Meep. Indeed, fairy processions are often the scene for some crucial encounter between mortal and fairy, as in the Border Country Ballad of Tamlane. Tamlane was a seductive fairy youth who haunted Carter Howe Wood. The king's beautiful daughter, Janet, fell in love with him and discovered that he was immortal, a mortal, taken by the fairies. To win him back, she had to seize him from the fairy cavalcade at midnight at the crossroads and hang on to him through a series of horrifying shape-shifting caused by the fairy queen. Sound familiar? Like anybody going through anything similar? Janet bravely carried out her mission, and Tamlane was later freed to become her husband. Irish fairies are most likely to travel by supernatural means than on splendid horses. Some travel on bundles of grass, which they ride in the same way that witches ride their brooms. Others move in the twinkling of an eye by uttering a magical word. Despite the fact that fairies are often depicted with wings, traditional fairies are rarely known to travel using them. The gauzy pinions are merely a sign that fairies can move about unrestrained by time, space, and gravity, right? Not the same as human physics. Fairies can also levitate humans, animals, and even buildings, should the need arise. At the start of the 19th century, near Glen Eithie, it's Eathie, Eithie, a brother and sister saw the last fairy raid. A cavalcade of small creatures rode past, and the boy asked them who they were and where they were going. He was told they were not of the race of Adam, and that the people of peace would never again be seen in Scotland. With the coming of industry and the Enlightenment, it may have seemed that there was no place for fairies. However, while flowers grow and songs are sung, there will always be fairies not far away. I remember too, like in Peter Pan, it's like every time you don't believe in a fairy dies, right? So, and like the St. Angelic's, the supernatural realm, right? Belief is 90% or 99%, 90% definitely of how we manifest, right? Through our consciousness, intent, and belief, and what we put out out into the world from our energy, from our ley lines, right? From inside. So, I don't have so much battery, so I'm not gonna make this too long a video. And I'm gonna pop back on later. I think I made it for 4:05. And I'm gonna come back on after and do a video this afternoon regarding like energy harvesting and like vampirism, and we can also call that narcissist empath, right? Spiritual versus right the material physical. It's just really blending everything together, but it's but we're gonna take a look at more so the energy harvesting and the vampirism and expectations, etc. So if you'd like to join later at 4:30 or after it's up and recorded, you can come back anytime. That'll be up later as well. All right, so let's see. We have the Fairy Encyclopedia. Let's see what this one. Where are we gonna go? Spencer Edmund Spencer. Let's see what he is. Poet and author of the epic poem The Faery Queen. I used to have a Barbie doll, the Faery Queen Barbie doll. She was really beautiful. 1590, which is a 15, which is a 6. Spencer drew on fairy lore and Arthurian legend to write one of the longest poems in the English language. It consists of 3 books published in 1590. And a further 3 books published in 1596, which is 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, which is a 3. So 3 and 6, and then 3. The work to include 12 books. 3, 6, and 9, like Tesla, and then the 12 is like the, right, 12, 12, and 44. 3, 6, 9, 12. So the poem remains unfinished. While drawing on folklore of the past, the poem was also written as a commentary on life in Britain in the 16th century. The Fairy Queen, named Gloriana, was based on Queen Elizabeth I. The poem contains references to many elements of fairy lore, such as changelings. That's a good song by The Doors. Fairy glamour and shape-shifting. It features magical items such as a magic mirror, ring, spear and shield, the water of life, and the tree of life. Which is interesting, right, that came up because, right, Adam and Eve and the humans, right, like the fairies said, they're not of the Adam race. They're the ones protecting, right, the tree of life, the water of life. Which is very different than the tree of knowledge, right? And if someone's intentions are not of good, it's like the oracle from, Never Ending Story. or again, is like the halls of Osiris, the heart being weighed of that to the ostrich feather, right? So yeah, if we're not of and nobody's perfect, but again, right, the heart has to be pure. It's not you have to be perfect. The heart has to be pure, right? So that was kind of short and sweet. Should we read one more? Here we got ghoul. Ooh, is also short. The anglicized ghoul. That's funny because I was thinking of Monster High yesterday, or I saw a commercial that reminded me of my daughters, and they still love that fucking show and those dolls, Monster High. And yeah, there was Ghoulia. Ghoulia couldn't really talk. She was like, I was thinking of her yesterday. So that's funny to be opened up to Ghoulia. The anglicized ghoul from the Arabic ghoul, and spelled Ghul, in the Western tradition describes a sinister, formless being haunting graveyards to prey on the flesh of corpses. Man. So, right, a ghoul is different than a ghost, is different than a spirit, is different than a fairy, is different than a sprite, is different than a nymph, is different than a siren, and many other, right, creatures from the land of, I'll say Nim, yeah. From fairy lore. And don't forget, originally, everything was told in story, right? Not written down. So, what came first, the chicken or the egg? What produced the chicken and the egg? I'm going to read one more because it's looking at me in my eyeballs. Like, and please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when I pop on here with my mama cuckoo crazy ass as well. And I appreciate your time and energy and spending it with me and hanging out with our soul tribe under the trees. Okay, so I have the Jarman looking in front of me. A nature spirit in the folklore of Bulgaria and Serbia, his effigy is constructed from cloth and earth and buried on riverbanks in a ritual observed solely by females to ensure sufficient rain for the crops to flourish. Bread and wine are also offered to him at Christmas in the hope of securing his special protection from damaging rain and hail in the summer months. Super cool. And I got a friend coming to say hello. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. And I bid you adieu, and thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. And please, again, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and share as well. And if you'd like to leave a comment, more than open to. And I'll see you next time. Happy Faery Friday.